Coming to you from beautiful downtown Santa Rosa, this is the Backstage Sonoma podcast. And now, here's your host, Steve Roby.
Hey, welcome to Backstage Sonoma. I'm your host, Steve Roby. Today we're thrilled to have the acclaimed singer-songwriter Peter Bradley Adams join us. Known for his heartfelt Americana sound, Peter's music has been described as a warm embrace full of gentle guitar, subtle banjo, and deeply resonated lyrics. In our chat today, Peter shares the inspiration behind the song Cold Hand, his side project Down Like Silver, and a new album in the works. Finally, he gives us a glimpse into what fans can look forward to at his upcoming show in Novato. Our show begins with My Arms Were Always Around You. It's from his 2017 album, A Face Like Mine. Here's Peter Bradley Adams on Backstage Sonoma.
Just say to me, you're beautiful this time. You'll take my place for a little while. You'll give me a chance, you'll let me break you down. Let me use you up, you'll show me how. Oh, my love, your pretty little wings, they must be getting tired, trying to keep your feet up off the ground. Let's go back to the days beneath the northern lights, when you danced so free like a little child. Oh, my love, you thought I lived without you. Around you. Just say to me, you'll lie awake this time. You'll watch me sleep straight through the night. No more dreams must I sacrifice. My heart is safe, you're guarded with your life. My love, you thought I'd live without you. But oh, my love, my arms were always around you. My arms were always around you.
It's Peter Bradley Adams with My Arms Were Always Around You. It comes from his 2017 album, A Face Like Mine, which is available now. And Peter joins me now. Hey, Peter, welcome to the show. Thanks for being here.
Hi, thanks so much. It's good to be here.
So glad you could be here, too. Hey, on Backstage Sonoma, we feature a wide variety of musicians and genres. How would you describe your sound and style to our listeners who are new to your music?
Ooh, that's always the dreaded question. You know, I kind of feel like I kind of fall between a few genres, although it's not like I'm doing anything radical or never done before. But, you know, there's a lot of Americana, a lot of folk music, that's kind of the root of it. But I've also, I think, listened to a lot of pop music growing up. So I have sort of maybe some might say a little hint of a pop sensibility and with the folk. So I don't know. It's just sort of, I've also like got a strong leaning towards sort of more ambient textures and drones. There's a lot of static harmonies going through my music. Not many chords.
Let's talk about some of those early musical influences. What did you listen to early on, and how have those influences impacted how you approach your music today?
I think that my first musical really revelation was listening to the Beatles. My dad had all the records, and I found them one by one and played them on my little play school toy record player. It was like a suitcase you would open up.
Oh, yeah. I remember those.
But yeah, I was about 5 years old, and I just would sit there and just couldn't believe how incredible it was. And I kind of thought no one really knew about them for some reason. I thought it was sort of secret.
Yeah.
They're the biggest band in the world. So that was a huge influence. And I just started, listening to the radio, listening to folk music. I was playing classical piano from 6 on. And so I wouldn't say I was listening to a lot of classical music, but I was playing a lot of classical music. And my grandfather was probably more of a jazz leaning person. He played clarinet and piano. When he was young, he was in a big band, kind of like the Pete Fountain type style, and he played on a cruise ship going around the world. But he was my first musical idol. He would come over, listen to him play piano, and lie under the piano, and just again be sort of blown away by the sounds.
So I guess it's fair to say that some of those influences have rubbed off on your music today.
Yeah, it's weird because there's nothing that I wasn't really listening to the type of music that I make now early on. I guess there wasn't a lot of it. And I mean, I guess I discovered James Taylor as an early teenager, and I was listening to, Neil Young and Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
But the early stuff was just sort of this very eclectic mix of music. And I think it took me a long time to kind of find my place.
How would you say your musical style has changed or developed from your early albums to now?
Hopefully I'm getting better.
We all think so.
Yeah, I mean, I some of my early stuff, there's no way I can listen to it. It's just like, wow, okay. Well, you're doing the best you could back then. But I mean, it's tough to say. Like, I think that hopefully the production has gotten deeper and simpler. And hopefully my singing is also still growing, still trying to figure out how to sing. But I don't know if there's been like I haven't done any major departure from the beginning. I'm narrowing my focus in a way to really hone in on and really get down to the essence of what I'm hearing or trying to hear.
Sure. Well, let's talk about your songwriting, and it's such a personal process. What does your songwriting routine typically look like, and where do you find your inspirations?
It's weird. I don't really know how I write these songs. I don't have a prescribed method. I don't have a routine or a schedule. And usually when I set aside time and sit down and say, okay, now I'm going to write, I usually don't get anything really that inspiring. It kind of it's almost like I hear something from the other room and I'm like, oh, okay. And I have to like run, pick up a guitar. And if I'm listening to music and there's some chord change in it that appeals to me or one little melodic idea, sometimes I'll just find myself playing around with it and then it'll grow into another song. And as far as the lyrics, again, I don't sit down with an intention to write a song about a particular thing. And when I do that, it usually doesn't work. So it's more like this stuff is kind of organically coming up and I'm sort of singing random words, sometimes not words, more kind of just sounds,
Sure.
vowel sounds and consonant sounds. And then I kind of some words start to emerge and I kind of let the song tell me what it's about. And it's not a quick process for me. I wish I could write quickly, but I just don't. I just kind of have to keep kind of living with it and
giving it food and water every day.
Do you typically say use a notebook to jot ideas down when they come to you, or are you the kind of songwriter that uses his phone to sing or record?
Oh yeah.
something?
I mean, the phone is I always use a phone. I mean, way back, I had a little handheld cassette player.
Yeah.
Now it's the phone. And I usually just type stuff up on my computer, which some people say is not a good idea for writers, but
Well, why is that?
I don't know. Some people think that the process of writing with your hand kind of can affect your brain. And
Yeah, from your brain to your hand. Huh?
yeah. But I'm just going to stick with the computer.
Okay. Don't change. Speaking of hands, let's talk about your most recent release, Cold Hand.
Oh, nice. Good segue.
A good segue. Yes, thanks. This boy has done some radio. Well, let's talk about the current release, Cold Hand. What can you share about this song with our listeners?
Yeah, well, this one was one of these that I had the verses all done, and I just kept trying chorus after chorus, and they all sucked. And I finally arrived on this chorus. It's probably a little bleak, coming from sort of a bleak time. Again, I didn't set out to write that particular song. It just kind of happened. I was writing it on the piano first, and then it kind of made its way over to the guitar. So yeah, and that whole batch of tune, that was the newest one of the batch. And the others were ones that I'd been struggling with for a couple of years and just was finally figured out a way to finish them. So that EP doesn't feel quite as fresh as the one that the record that I'm working on now, but I had to just get something out. I had to just let it go in all its imperfection and move on.
Yeah. Well, let's hear it now. This is Cold Hand by Peter Bradley Adams on Backstage Sonoma.
Got a brand new face, but I'm broken on the inside. Been a lonesome day, now I'm looking at a long night. If it's not too late, could you meet me on the east side? Now the house is dark, and I'm staring at a blank page, and the words won't come, so I gotta get my head straight. No one needs another song about a heartbreak. Wildfires roam free, a black cloud covers me. The dry land groans deep, and a cold hand touches me.
That's Cold Hand by Peter Bradley Adams, and it's available now. Peter is my guest today. Peter, you have an impressive career with a rich musical catalog. What has been one of your most memorable career highlights so far?
I mean, obviously, it kind of all started when I was in Los Angeles and started a duo called East Mountain South with a woman named Kat Maslich. We just started singing together out there, not intending to become a duo, but it just sort of started to make sense the way our voices harmonized, and the songs I was writing and the songs she was writing kind of also fit together. And then we wrote together. And then we had the incredible fortune of having Robbie Robertson from the band hear our music and give us a record deal with DreamWorks. So that was mind-boggling. I was really green back then and didn't really know what I was doing, but he heard something in what we were doing, and so it was just it was a deep honor to have that guy who I've idolized since I was a kid here respond to what we were doing. So of course that was a big highlight.
Oh yeah, what a great moment! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
So what can you tell us about the current record you're working on, and when can we look forward to it?
Well, I can't tell you exactly. I'm probably gonna do the standard thing now, where I'm gonna kind of roll it out a song at a time.
Okay.
And I might even start rolling it out before the whole thing is done, if nothing else, than to kind of keep the pressure on myself to finish it. But I recorded with a full band in a studio in June, and I had been on the last EP and the previous record. A lot of it was done sort of building tracks up, like, bringing in a rhythm section, but also just doing a lot of layering stuff. There wasn't a lot of people in the room together, playing together, which I had done previously, but so I needed to get back to that. I talked to my longtime collaborator, Lex Price, who is an incredible producer, mixer, a great bass player, and great mandolin player, and he co-produced my Leave Taking record way back. And so we just were very in sync, and I talked to him about it. So he helped me assemble this great band, and we went into Blackbird Studio in Nashville, and we're able to get most of the tracks done. So there won't be so much overdubbing. So that's been a great relief and saved a lot of time.
I'm sure, yeah.
The songs were not even really done when I went in. I was still honing in on the lyrics. So I was sort of kind of just leading the band, mumbling some of the lyrics, which I know some people do that.
Yeah.
Some people say that's sacrilege, but I wrote the songs quite quickly, or I had begun to write them quite quickly. So hopefully it's going to have it's just going to be a little more raw, a little more, who knows? We'll see. I'm excited about it though.
Is there an overall theme or inspiration behind the record?
That's a tough question. I'm still looking at that.
Okay.
Trying to find the thread, but there is a thread. I don't know if I could describe it yet.
Okay.
I think that the lyrics might be slightly more existential than sad breakup songs.
Okay.
Which, there's never enough breakup songs. Don't get me wrong. I think forever we need them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I will write many more in my life. And maybe it's just a little bit more a little more overview of our existence, my existence. That sounds very pretentious, I know, but that's just kind of how it feels right now.
That's the way it works, yeah. So I guess your social media is the best way to kind of stay in touch with when the new record or new singles are coming out. Huh?
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Well, let's talk about your side project, Down Like Silver. How did that come about?
I met this woman, Caitlin Canty, when I was living in Brooklyn, and I was writing some song for to be pitched for a TV show, and I needed to be kind of have male and female vocals on it. So I had her come in, and unlike in my first duo, East Mountain South, which was pretty much all harmony, Caitlin and I sang in octaves. So we're singing the same melody. She's just an octave above me. Anybody that knows what that means? It was a really kind of haunting sound. I was always thinking, oh, you can't do that. That's just it's not juicy enough if there's no harmony part. But there's something about our voices singing together like that. And so I said, we should do more of this. So she sent me a bunch of little snippets from her phone, little voice memos, and we put a batch together, and it's just been a wonderful thing to do because we're both doing our solo careers, and it's just been this great, no pressure, no expectation, but also coming up with something really different than what she and I do alone. She now lives in Vermont, so it's a little harder to, and I'm in Nashville. It's a little harder to get together consistently, but we got more songs in the pipeline.
Yeah, well, that's great. Let's play some more of your music from the side project. And the song we're going to play is called First Light. What's the backstory with this one?
Yeah, this is one that we had been tossing around for a few years. It was just it's something about the melody was really hard to get the lyrics right, the phrasing of it, but we just kept working at it, and we got it. And we recorded it at a friend of mine named Josh Grange, his studio in Nashville, and we both really like it. I don't normally say that.
We like it too. Let me remind our listeners, we're talking with Peter Bradley Adams about his side project, Down Like Silver, and let's hear a song from that project. This one's called First Light. You're listening to Backstage Sonoma.
Black jet, pink trail in a blue sky, bright star, the first light, the spark of a new night. Tall tree, cool wind and a slow dance. Sun takes a last glance, the brush of a soft hand. On the rooftop, time stops, red and gold and silver. Fire burns and fades away, and that old song plays on, colored by a memory. Fire burns and fades away. Over the tree line, shines in your dark eyes, the spark of a new night. Blackbird cries out from the willow, the smell of wood smoke calling you back home. On the rooftop, time stops, red and gold and silver. Fire burns and fades away, and that old song plays on, colored by a memory. Fire burns and fades away.
It's First Light by Peter Bradley Adams from the side project Down Like Silver. Peter, when you perform live, how do you approach translating the emotional depth of your recorded music to the stage?
Ideally, I would be out with a full band, even though when I do play with a full band, they're very dynamic and leave a lot of space. So it's not just everybody's rocking out all the time. But luckily, my music doesn't require the full band, and touring with a full band is financially unsustainable at this moment for me. So, but there's a few players that I've found over the years that are just so extraordinary and also singers. So it's very translatable with two guitars and two voices, and we can travel light like that. And I don't think that, a lot of people even prefer hearing songs like that and hearing my songs like that, even though hopefully my production stays out of the way and still amplifies the song. There is something about hearing it more stripped down, which is special and really fun to do.
Can you talk about the instrumentation you use while touring versus the studio recordings? What do you bring along with you?
Most of the records, the foundation of them are usually two acoustics. One I'll be finger picking, and then there'll be another acoustic voice kind of like on top of it, very connected to it. That's sort of not in every single song, but it is kind of a sound. And so the production that I add is just sort of amplifying that usually. And so when we do it live, it's that basis of the original production is of just the two acoustics is there. So that's the foundation of it. So I don't think anything is really missing, and a lot of harmony. So I have to have a guitar player that can sing high. Sometimes I'll have a woman singing harmony live, but right now I'm touring with a guy named Cy Winstanley, who's a wonderful guitar player here in Nashville, wonderful singer. He can just soar above me,
nice
vocally. So it's really fun.
So you're set to play the HopMonk Tavern in Novato this week. What's in store for your fans? Any bits you can tell us about your set list or anything?
We're gonna do a smattering of the old hits, in quotation hits, of course, and then a smattering of new stuff that is yet to be released.
Nice.
And we do sometimes we pull out an old bluegrass gospel cover every once in a while. So it's just we kind of switch it up, but it'll be a little bit of everything.
Sounds like a fun show. And
yeah.
Final question for you, Peter. What advice would you give aspiring singer-songwriters just starting their musical journey?
I would say, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that would say this, is that the most important thing is to just find your voice, your artistic voice, and not only your singing voice, more importantly, your writing voice. And that can take a long time. Like I said earlier, I'm still kind of honing in on mine. I think that's ultimately, listen to other stuff, be inspired by it, but then find your thing.
Yeah.
You know it when you find it, I think.
Great advice.
Yeah.
Let me remind our listeners, Peter Bradley Adams will perform at the HopMonk Tavern on Friday, November 22nd. Doors open at 7 p.m. and showtime is 8. Tickets are available right now online at hopmonktavern.com/Novato, Novato. Go there and pick up some tickets. Also, be sure to stop by Peter's website, peterbradleyadams.com, for his tour schedule and music. Hey, Peter, thanks so much for being on the show. And anytime you want to come back, please do, buddy.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Backstage Sonoma will be right back.
Hey musicians, would you like to be a guest and promote your upcoming concert and latest release? It's easy. Just email the host at backstagesonoma@gmail.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Thanks for listening to the Backstage Sonoma podcast. Join us next time for more great interviews and music from local and touring musicians. You can find us on the web at backstagesonoma.com.